Oh, hello. Welcome to today's video. We're going to talk about the kill team tactical objectives. And we're going to ask the question of, are they changing them again? Let's see. First, we need to talk about what the tactical objectives are. The kill team tac ops deck, the separate deck, the critical operations deck as it's properly called, is simultaneously the best and the worst kill team product of the entire edition. The tac ops deck, or crit ops deck, whichever you want to call it, is essentially a 0.5 addition increment for kill team. And that's why we've got a picture of a Dungeons & Dragons book on the screen here. This is Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. Right? This is quite an old edition of Dungeons & Dragons, but it always sticks in my mind because quite often these designations, this is this 0.5, this is that 0.75, and all this, are fan designations. And I did admire Wizards of the Coast as it was there when they came out and said, oh, this is version 3.5. We've changed a bit, but we've not changed a lot. But it made a big difference to the game. And likewise, I just think that the tac ops deck, you really can't understate how much it changed and improved the game. It improved the game, it rebalanced the game, it changed the game a lot. It really, an impressive amount of games design work for something that Games Workshop have realised reasonably light profit margins on, and I think a real testament to how much Games Workshop cares about the competitive game within Kill Team. And this is not new. If anybody has been around war games for a while, and I've thought quite deeply about them, not even that deeply, but more than slightly superficially about them. To a great degree, the missions and the scenarios are the game. You know, this is why for the longest time Games Workshop with their chapter approved books would change the missions that were there for competitive play every year. Because it massively changes up. It massively changes up the game and breathes a whole new lease of life into the whole game. And the reason I think it's one of the worst products ever is because my comments to this day are still full of people, whenever I bring this up, that say, oh, I haven't bought them, oh, I can't buy them, oh, they don't exist in my territory, oh, nobody has them, right? And so I think that there are still a lot of people out there, maybe not people who go to events, but I'm aware that a lot of people that watch this channel are not people that attend events. We're not a bleeding edge, highly competitive channel, okay? We're kind of a casual... You know, I like to go to events to have some casual fun. We're kind of a casual channel. I know there are a lot of people out there still bobbing along with the original tac ops deck because they were made aware of this deck, they couldn't pick it up, and they went, it's probably just for tournament tryhards anyway. We're quite happy with what we've got. I have to say that the crit ops deck is not just, or mainly, well, it's not just for tournament players. Your game is improved by playing, your game will be improved by playing with these cards. It really, really will. But yeah, you can't get them, and that's Games Workshop's fault. So, the best and the worst kill team product. Best in terms of the development, playtesting that went into it. Worst in terms of Games Workshop's after making something so crucial, right, forget the teams. I know that people want their particular team, but this is something that every single kill team player needed this product, and they couldn't provide it, right? Enough whinging anyway. So a bit of it, as I always like to do, I like to tell you a bit of a story about why we're here when I have one of these slightly rambly videos. So what brought this on? Well, it's Sunday afternoon. Next week on Warhammer has dropped and not provided me with an easy win. Did I really think we'd get more kill team stuff after we just had some kill team stuff? No, but we might have got some 40k stuff that I could have squeezed a video out of. But no, it was Cities of Sigmar. They look cool, but I couldn't really make a video based on them. So I stare at my planning sheet. A little bit of a behind-the-scenes tidbit for you. This spreadsheet that you can see on the screen here, this is it. This is the sum total of all the notes that exist for the entire channel. Okay? It's basically a matrix of the teams. Alright? And then a few notes in vaguely unheaded columns. That's it. I don't script things. I look at this, I make a PowerPoint, and then I just go for it. Just in case you were curious. So there are 2 videos over there about tactical objectives that I never got around to, which I've written down as any compendium teams buffed from tacos, which was an idea for a video I had where we'd go back and look and go, like Compendium Sisters a better team now because the security's changed, and you can get even more points just by standing around in the middle of the board being alive, right? Which is not a question I think I have an answer to that's credible, or a question I think anybody cares about the answer to, but it was a vague idea for a video. And the other one was a taco rundown, where something I never did on the channel. I never went through the entire critical operations deck and went, this has changed, this has changed, this has changed, this has changed. Never did it, right? And I'm like, I can't do those now, it's a bit late. They've been out for ages. And I vaguely thought, well, maybe I'll talk about tactical objectives in some way. So I head over to GW.com to get a product shot of the critical operations deck to use on the front page. Actually, the one on the front page is from Games Workshop's marketing material, but I nicked it off Goonhammer because the actual GamesWorkshop.com product listing, at least on the UK site, has gone down. It's not there. And it's not there showing as sold out, it's just not there. Now, I know something disappearing from the Games Workshop site doesn't always mean something except when it does, right? So it's probably nothing. But just to run some stuff up the flagpole, we're about to get box 1 of season 3, right? The season launch box. And it feels like a little bit of knowledge has been lost here. I've been told the internet has no memory, right? And you can essentially just keep making the same video over and over again and people probably won't notice. But season 1, the first box of each season, that is to say so far Octarius and Into the Dark, and the next box that we're expecting, they're always a little bit extra, right? So they contain dice, they contain tokens, they contain a core rulebook, barricades, measuring tools, and they contain 2 tactical objectives decks, okay? They both did that. So we're expecting the next box to contain all those things, because it's the first box of a new season, which is always designed to be more of an entry point into the game. And Kalu Kalei, these first boxes as well, I've mentioned this before, but just to allay people's fears, these first boxes of a new season are generally massively produced compared to the ones that follow after them, right? Unless Games Workshop change what they're doing, but that's generally the way it works. So we're going to ask ourselves the question, what TAC Ops cards are coming in Season 3 Box 1? Because we don't have any idea. It could be the original 2 decks, right? That's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Games Workshop sometimes do things that come off as being quite malicious, and I'm convinced it's because they don't talk to each other, and because the people who work in different departments don't all play the game. And I'm absolutely sure if they were to go up and ask Elliot what cards we're putting in this box, he would give them the answer that the community wanted. But I'm also not totally confident these decisions are always in the hands of the people that have the community's best interest at heart, right? So, yeah, we could just get the old shovelware Crit Ops cards and they go straight in the bin. That is not totally unreasonable as far as Games Workshop is concerned. It could be the currently used, the Crit Ops pack that we're familiar with. And this would be a great thing for getting that pack finally into people's hands, because the print run has been challenging. It'd be interesting to see in that case if it would be 1 deck or 2, because the previous Crit Ops card pack, you got 2 in the starter set, because that's what you needed, 1 each for you and a friend, and they were sold as a pair of decks as well. The current deck is sold as a single deck, so would you get 1, would you get 2? Not sure. Or it's not impossible that they change them again, and the reason they've disappeared from the web store is because they decided maybe midway through season 2, right? Oh, a new season, we'll do new Crit Ops. That'll change everything up. That'll change the way the game works. That'll refresh everything. That'll be great. It could be. It could be. But then, would the new... I understand I'm deep in speculation here, right? But would the new Crit Ops be just for all games, or would they just be for games on, let's call it Planet Season 3, whatever the setting for Season 3 is going to be? Because right now, we kind of currently understand you're either playing open world or Into the Dark, and then whatever Season 3 is going to be. One of my biggest worries for Season 3, I wouldn't really call it a worry. I don't really worry. I think that the Season 3 is going to be awesome, by the way. But one thing that does play my mind a little bit is that Planet Season 3 is going to be a kind of version 2.75 of Kill Team, right? A kind of default new way to play for competitive-ish play. You know, they could put in changes to the tac ops, they could put in changes like, oh, you can go on guard whenever you want, they could put in standard map layouts, they could put in a standard terrain thing that everyone has to use, they could put in loads of things geared towards a slightly more competitive environment, and really all they're doing is iterate. It could just be an iteration on open world play, and they sneak it in by saying, well, if you don't want to pick up these boxes and buy this new terrain and get these new cards, you can still keep playing with all these teams in Octarius, you know, with your Octarius terrain and playing as loosely as you want. The trouble if they do that, a lot of people will jump ship to the new way to play and some people won't. And it will lead to this kind of balkanization of the community, which is kind of a bad thing because it makes it more difficult to communicate with people. Now, this didn't happen with Into the Dark with Season 2 because it was clearly a modifier. There were no channels and no people that I know of that just went, oh, we're 100% Into the Dark 100% of the time now, right? There was a bit of focus on it when it first came out because it was novel and new and interesting, but it didn't replace or erode interest in core Kill Team. Again, worry is the wrong word, because actually I think it could in a way be an awesome thing for the game and for the high engagement folks that I talk to, associate with. I mean, I'm a guy that runs a Kill Team YouTube channel. I have my finger somewhat on the Kill Team pulse, right? It could be a great thing for me and all my mates and all the people I associate with, all the people I see, and we'd all have a great time if it was an iteration on open world. But what it would do is just further ostracize the people who've been happily plugging away on Octarius. Maybe they bought the first box and then they bought like, say the Eldar Corsairs because they really like Eldar, and they're just playing away, plugging away in their garage with their three mates, and it casts them more and more adrift from what the people online in the mainstream are doing. And do they care? Do we care? Should anybody care? I don't know. But at the back of my mind, I kind of got a little whispering feeling that that's a poor thing, and you can see why Games Workshop want to do it. Hey, the competitive community would probably really love it, right? And they're a big core audience for Kill Team. And secondly, it lets them kind of roll around. Remember, they're probably working on the next edition of Kill Team right now anyway, and it lets them kind of roll around some of the things that they're thinking of to see what they want to put into the next edition of Kill Team before they have to send the rule books off to print, which will be pretty soon, right? You know, if they wrote this stuff, you know, you got to remember they will have written the stuff for Season 3 months ago, and it will let them get some feedback on some things, maybe just before they put the final touches on the next edition. I don't know. Final thoughts, what do you think? This has been a highly speculative one. I know that. There is a genuine drought of actual Kill Team news, and I haven't. If you're coming to me with tactical analysis, even though I'm going to a tournament next weekend in Wild World, haven't played Kill Team since the school holidays started because we've been taking advantage of the longer days to play some combat patrol and stuff like that. So you can't really come to me for like tactical analysis. There's loads of people out there providing razor sharp tactical analysis. So all I'm left with is these kind of editorial content, which hopefully people enjoy. Listen, I believe the future is bright for Kill Team. Not least because, you know, the one person I vaguely know who knows things about Kill Team, that line is literally all he will say to me. I'll be like, oh, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking this. And he pulls a face because he knows things and can't talk about them and goes, the future's bright for Kill Team. I'm like, okay, all right, good. And I have faith. I'm a very faithful guy. But on the other hand, I need to talk about something for my YouTube channel to get the clicks and the views and the likes and the validation and the comments and all that stuff. So, again, this isn't negative. It isn't gloom. Like, I don't think an iteration on open play would necessarily be bad. It might be, for me and all the people I know, one of the best things they could do, right? If actually what we got was a redux of Octarius with some more ruins and some tweaks to the rules, and otherwise it was just open world Kill Team. It could still be something totally bizarrely different, like Jungle Water World Mania, right? But I think it bears talking about and thinking about. Let me know in the comments, what do you think it will be? What do you want it to be? Try not to let those two things intersect in your mind, right? Don't try not to wish list. I'm interested in your predictions, interested in your, what you'd prefer as well. Very useful things. Interesting wrinkle, as I like to say. I don't know what I want, really. I've got no idea what I want. Part of me think actually iteration on basic Kill Team, basic Season 1 Kill Team, like some kind of iteration and improvement across the whole thing, would be really good for Season 3. Part of me worries that would be quite exclusionary. I like to worry about things. I'm a worrier. That's my personality type. Even though I try and be very stoic about things, my kind of innate nature is to worry about them. It's a constant struggle. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So do subscribe, comment, like, etc. Consider joining the Discord. And I just have to give a great big thank you to all my channel members, but especially Nightfall EDH, who, all my members support me through the YouTube membership program financially for some fairly marginal, but they're not non-existent benefits, like behind the scenes rambly videos and things, of which I did recently make a new one. We got a private Discord room, we got all these things. But Nightfall goes above and beyond by subscribing at the very highest tier, which he really doesn't need to do, and contributing significantly. So he gets a shout out every video. You could dilute his accolades by also subscribing at the top tier if you were actually someone that wanted to do that. Just saying. Right, enough e-begging. Right, that's the end of the video. Cheery bye, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.